Hi guys! Today we're making this miniature shimmery mermaid tail. You can make this for any size of doll and customize it by changing up the glitters you use. Just like my previous mermaid tail, I used liquid latex to form it to give a flexible tail where the doll can actually move. I also intend to use this tail for a mermaid repaint real soon, so stay tuned for that. Now let's get started. The first thing you're gonna need is a doll. I'll be working on this Monster High Draculaura doll, but you can choose any doll you want, the process is the same. Firstly, we're gonna use some kitchen film and tape to make a basic pattern for the tail. You do this by first wrapping the doll in film and then tape to make it a snug fit. Once the doll is all nicely wrapped up like a little cocoon, you're going to take a marker and start sketching out the top of the tail in the shape you want it to be. Be sure you make it big enough so it covers any permanent underwear the doll might be sculpted with. After that, you're just gonna make lines down the side to separate the front and back side of the pattern. Make a line down the back as well for where the tail is going to close and open. Once you're happy with this shape, use a small pair of scissors to gently cut it away from the doll and then cut the pieces separate. And here we are. Here's our basic pattern. You can also use this if you want to sew a mermaid tail from fabric. I'm going to trace on both the front and back piece onto separate pieces of paper, and then on a third piece I'm going to draw out the shape I want for the tail fin. On the front piece I'm going to add a little to each side to make sure that I can wrap it around and gather it in the end. Add a little extra in the opening as well to make sure it can overlap in the end. Now to form the actual pieces, we're gonna need liquid latex. I got this at my local craft store. Cover your pattern pieces in plastic. I just use freezer bags and then start spreading the liquid latex on top. The latex will try to pool, but just keep working it around until it stays where you need it to. I used this silicone sculpting tool to push the latex around, but you can use whatever you have. I wouldn't recommend a brush though, since you wouldn't be able to get the latex out of it. Once the whole piece is covered, you want to get out your glitter. I made these glitter mixes myself, mixing both fine and chunky glitter, and then you simply sprinkle them on top of the wet latex. Once the latex is dry, you can sweep away the excess glitter. I decided to add a bit of gold mica powder for a little extra sheen, but you can skip this if you want, or you can just add eyeshadow. Once you're happy with the look, you can encase everything in another layer of latex. Then set it aside to dry completely and make the back piece the same way. For the tail fin, I started by doing it the same way in the first layer by adding first the latex and then the glitter. After the first layer had dried, I went in and only added latex in thin lines to create those lines of the fin you usually see, and then I sprinkled on the glitter on top so it only adhered to those places. Once that dries, tip off the excess glitter, add gold accents if you want, and then encase it all in liquid latex. Let all your pieces dry completely and you should have something like this. Latex naturally dries with a sticky surface, so we're going to use this to attach the front part to the tail fin. Next you're going to take some talcum powder or face powder or whatever you have and powder the surface of all the pieces. This is to make sure we can assemble the tail without actually sticking it in the wrong places. Then you're going to take the back piece and overlap the part where we made extra in the beginning, pin this together to temporarily close it so we can assemble the tail properly. Then we're going to put the front and back piece together, starting at the very bottom using more liquid latex. The pieces need to be backside to backside. Once the bottom has stuck, you want to place the doll where it needs to be, then start adding latex to the edge of the back piece and folding the front piece on top of it to close the sides. And this is why we made the front piece a little bigger in the pattern stage. Work your way up both sides until you close the entire tail. Once you reach the top, you want to give it a moment to dry so it doesn't come apart. Once dry, remove the pins and gently pull out the doll. Then you want to powder the inside again to make sure none of the new latex is exposed and will cause the tail to collapse in on itself. To close the tail, I use this fishing line since it's transparent and kinda sewed it in place to close the tail in sort of a corset-like manner. But you can really close it however you like. You could add velcro or buttons. It's all up to you, and if you wanted the doll to be a mermaid permanently, then you could just add liquid latex to the back as well and close it up. Once I laced it all the way to the top, I just tied a little bow so I could remove it again later if I had to, and then cut away some of the excess. Since the glitter I used was pretty chunky, there were some parts around the edges where the glitter was sticking out, so if you have any of that, just go ahead and trim it. Finally, I used a wet wipe to remove any excess talcum off the surface and bring out the glitter a little more. And that's our flexible mermaid tail done. I really like the color and sparkle of this one, and I think it turned out really nice with the big hexagon glitters, since it kind of looks like fish scales. I really hope you enjoyed this project and you try it out for yourself. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!